Denver's mayor, Mike Johnston, is halfway through his first term, so we thought time to check in to see how things are going.
Yeah, our Kyle Clark sat down with Mayor Mike Johnston to talk about a lot of issues today going on in Denver, including how he hopes to avoid the military coming in like they did in LA on President Trump's orders. So lots to talk about. What was said today.
So, Mayor Mike Johnston knows that among Denver's many challenges right now is that he and Denver are targets of the Trump administration and congressional Republicans. Johnston was questioned by a House committee over Denver's limitations on cooperation with ICE. But Mayor Johnston staunchly defends Denver's policies, its embrace of migrants who surged here back in 2023. And he talked to me about his plan to avoid an escalation with Trump.
President Donald Trump deserve credit for drastically reducing the border crossings and preventing another surge in Denver?
No, and it's one of the great, I think, misunderstandings in American life. This crisis was over in Denver a year ago. It was over summer of 2024.
Have you and your team game planned for a scenario like we saw in Los Angeles, where the president sends in the military as a show of force? You got officers marching on horses through public parks. You got Marines around federal buildings. Have you planned for whether that could happen in Denver?
We have, and actually, Kyle, I'd say one of the B-side successes I'm most proud of that probably no one notices, is sometimes the best success are the ones that no one hears about, is the way our police department has handled the protests over the last 2 years. We found a way for folks to be heard, have their First Amendment rights protected, and have everyone in the city be safe and not have to have police involvement. And that's been a huge success for us. So the way we stay out of being LA is we have, I think, a incredibly well-trained safety team that protects people to protest and doesn't have to create chaos. But you don't have people lighting police cars on fire in the city. We both don't tolerate that, but we really work hard with the groups who want to protest peacefully to make sure they can do it.
My measure is always, does anybody find trouble who isn't looking for trouble? You know, like there's always a group that's looking for trouble and they find it, and you know what, they've probably had the night that they wanted, you know, but like are other people who don't want trouble finding it? And we haven't seen that.
We haven't.
We've not seen that yet.
That's why I'm delighted that I have grandmothers calling and saying, I want to bring my 8-year-old daughter, should I come down to the protest? And I say, absolutely do. It's built for you.
So that's his plan to avoid an escalation LA style with Trump. Denver's got a lot of problems, right? I mean, cities have a lot of problems these days. Coming up on next at 6 o'clock, we are going to talk about the current budget deficit, how he thinks that we got into that, whether he thinks that his spending on homelessness and the migrants contributed to that, and also how they break through cultural concerns about getting people back into downtown Denver to spend dollars, prop up sales tax revenues, and fix the city's budget deficit. Also, we're going to talk about the idea of public funding going into a new Broncos stadium, and what he thinks about Governor Polis's idea to put a bridge on the front lawn of the state capitol. I had to ask.
You had to.
It's his city, right? It's right in the middle of his city. I wanted to know what he thinks of it. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
He'd be looking at that from his front office.
Right out of his window. Every day, every day he'd be looking at that bridge. So I want to know what he thought about it.
Boy, that's a tease. 6 o'clock. We'll be watching on Next.
I appreciate that. Thank you.